West of Safford, just north of the ranching community of Klondike, lies a rugged desert landscape of peaks and valleys, mostly unreachable and somewhat forgotten for the past 20 years.
In Arizona and across the West, there are many millions of acres of public lands that you and I own that the public can't access for hunting, for backpacking, for horseback riding, because it's locked by private gates that control the roads into these lands.
For over 20 years, the Bighorn Sheep Society in Arizona has struggled with providing access into Aravaipa Canyon for both conservation work, bighorn sheep hunters, and also general recreation for the public.
This gate was locked for a couple of decades at least, and it is now opened up to the public. There's about 2,800 acres of BLM land up in here that was acquired, in addition to a little over 300 acres of the Forest Service.
It's a great way to fulfill our mission in Arizona by opening up, in this case, 40,000 acres of beautiful, rugged public lands for access by the public.
I actually grew up in this area, and as a kid, we could go out there, and could enjoy it. It's really, really neat to see it going back to where it's open for the public and people can be able to enjoy it again.
The acquisition of land that makes up the Cross F Ranch now provides an opportunity for hunters, hikers, and outdoor enthusiasts to rediscover an area rich in history.
The old town of Aravaipa, kind of a neat historical spot. There's a bunch of old mine shafts that are out there from turn of the century mining activities that were there.
The Graham County Historical Society is excited for this acquisition because they really want to work with us on some interpretation at the old town site, which would be really neat.
There's a place called Landsman Camp, which is kind of on the Forest Service, and there's some trails that come up out of Landsman Camp. There's Tule Springs and some really neat little areas down in there.
There's about a mile of the road that the Arizona Game and Fish Department purchased an easement from the Nature Conservancy, who then gave that to Graham County, and that is the access that gets you up into this Cross F Ranch area. The roads behind the gate are primitive roads. They haven't been maintained very well for quite some time. We're up in here right now maintaining some of those roads and working with Graham County. They have agreed to maintain this road up to some shipping corrals that they historically maintained it to. They'll still be primitive roads, but they will allow public access up in here so people can come up and enjoy them in some type of 4x4 vehicle.
Purchase of the Cross F Ranch also helps protect existing wildlife corridors and natural habitat across the area for future generations.
This project is also about habitat and the connectivity with the mountain ranges.
The ET Ranch essentially opened up, we'll say, half the pie on the east side of the Santa Teresas. The Cross F Ranch opened up the western half of the pie.
Because of the acquisition, we are able to conserve and protect a wildlife corridor between the Santa Teresa Mountains and the Galero Mountains through the Aravaipa Canyon Wilderness, connecting up to the Santa Teresa Wilderness of the Forest Service.
A lot of the water supply for Aravaipa Creek comes off of this landscape, and as most people will recognize, Aravaipa Creek is hugely important. It contains the most diverse population of native fish in Arizona.
We have mule deer, whitetail, javelina, we have mountain lions. We'll see bears in here. Quad is kind of an interesting one that we would see down here too.
The money for BLM and the Forest Service to acquire the private lands of the Cross F Ranch came from the Land and Water Conservation Fund, from a portion of the federal government's share of offshore oil and gas royalties that is then reinvested to protect our country's natural resources.
The purchase of the Cross F Ranch solidifies access to the public thanks to the collaboration of many partners, including rancher Kathy Sargent, who conveyed a public access easement across her nearby dry camp ranch the Arizona Game and Fish Department funded.
It required many parties to come together and collaborate, including the BLM, U.S. Forest Service, Arizona Game and Fish, Graham County, as well as sportsman groups and outdoor recreation groups that all contributed financially to make this project possible.
Trust for Public Land came back to us funding partners, and there were some significant contributions from the Desert Bighorn Sheep Society, the Wild Sheep Foundation.
Towards the end, they approached Arizona Sportsmen for Wildlife Conservation and wondered if we could contribute something through our license plate money. We run a grant program through that, Conserving Wildlife License Plate, and through the National Wild Turkey Federation, we were able to contribute $40,000 to help consummate the deal.
This was my main project for the last year and a half, over a year and a half, and to see it completed is really big. You know, it's really big for the BLM, really big for the public. It's a huge acquisition that is going to benefit everybody.
This project is really the culmination of 18 years of my career as a land specialist. It reconnects people with their public lands, and it also is going to provide 42,500 acres of that access that hasn't been around for the last almost 2 decades.
This is actually something that the department has been working on for many years, trying to get this to be able to be opened back up. So it's a huge win, but not only a huge win for the department or for hunters or for any particular one group, it's actually a huge win for the state of Arizona.